Welcome back to Paragon Ops, where we speak about Call of Duty Mobile. In today's video, we'll cover Story Templar Who vs Stansfield. We will look at their narrative and life in the COD mobile universe. This video is made with the help of the Call of Duty wiki. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the video. Now, let's get into the video. Templar and Stansfield were in the same organization but seems to have a falling out, which we will get to in this video, but first we will look at Templar origin story then Stansfield. This might be a long video or split into two videos. Story Who, popularly known as the Templar, is a character in Call of Duty Mobile. He was added to the game on November 13, 2020, as part of the Dark Omen draw during Season 12 Going Dark. In the comics, Templar is also one of the two primary adversaries. Templar rank is Knight Mercenary. According to bio, he has affiliations with codm 5 Knights, the 5 Knights, formerly Cordis Die, formerly Dame, formerly, and the Dark Covenant, formerly. Templar's nationality is French and his race is Caucasian. His current status is alive. He has blue eyes. His only known relative is his daughter Sophia Who. Templar's specialty is his throwing knives. In-game biography. His methods are often bloody, but he's the best gun for hire money can buy. He even offers discounts for the more tortuous learning methods of interrogation. I am called the Templar. It's a bit dramatic, but very threatening. No. Templar introduces himself to Ghost. Not much is known about him besides his membership in the 5 Knights. In the comics, he is seen putting on his helmet and then throwing a few knives with great accuracy at a picture of Mara, Soap, Price, Ghost, and Tank, prominently hitting Tank. Later on, Templar intercepts Soap and Price. He grabs Soap by the throat and tosses him aside, when two SEALs attempt to intervene. Soap and Price devise a plan to take him down, but it fails and he escapes after having a brief standoff with Price, leaving Soap mortally wounded. In Season 13, Winter War, Templar appears again on a base in Siberia, where Ghost had just discovered that Makarov is still alive, and agreed to take him in exchange of intel on the 5 Knights. A short hustle occurs and Templar throws a knife into Ghost's wrist, wounding him, and then performing a coup de grace. Templar is disappointed because he expected a warrior of equal strength, but instead he got a ghost. He then takes Ghost's mask as a souvenir, saying that's one less loose end. In Season 2, Day of Reckoning, Templar appears in his Royal Knight uniform, helping Raúl Menendez to escape from Charlie and her squad by killing them all, save Charlie herself, whom he wounds with his throwing knife. He later appears again, speaking with an unknown individual, likely his employer, who is apparently the 5th Knight. The individual reprimands Templar for not being able to find Makarov. When he asks to find him, his employer tells him that Makarov isn't a priority anymore and that he has another mission for him, which he accepts. Menendez, who under interrogation by Captain Price and Shepard, reveals that Templar had been dispatched to Texas, the same hideout that Ghost apparently raided in the events of the first seasonal Battle Pass comic, to uncover what he had missed out on. Later on, it's revealed that Templar's assignment was merely a ploy. It's actually an ambush set up for the UAC members who have also embarked here on their mission to locate him. Templar, working alongside his consort Dame, kills the Spec Ops soldiers on their end, and then later engages Price and Mace single-handedly while Dame deals with Charlie and Rosa. During the scuffle, Templar throws a knife into Mace's hand just as he did to Ghost and then proceeds to knock him and Price out with little difficulty. He is later shown to have tied up the UAC operators to pillars so that they can't escape. He examines Rosa, who appears to be unconscious, remarking that Dame might have hit her too hard, to which she replies that she thought the Americans would have had harder heads, but Price tells them that they aren't American, though Templar views it of little concern. When Dame looks upon Rosa believing that she is not actually unconscious, she is spat at by the latter, which angers Templar, causing him to punch Rosa. However, Rosa simply mocks him for having struck a nerve, and Price agrees, stating that the mighty Templar seems to have a weakness, causing him to hold a knife to Price's eye and telling him to watch his mouth. Gabriel Rourke then appears, telling them that the operators haven't yet outlived their usefulness, and that he and Dame can have their heartwarming reunion afterwards. When Rourke is later attacked by Mace, who had broken free of his binds, Templar is there to witness the arrival of Adler and his group of soldiers as reinforcements. Adler says he's also brought in an old friend, a statement that leaves Templar in shock and denial, as the old friend is revealed to be Ghost, whom he believed he had killed in Siberia. Ghost tells Templar that they have a score to settle, to which Templar responds by immediately throwing his knife at Ghost, but the latter catches it and swivels it around his wrist before throwing it back, hitting Rourke in his arm. Ghost then orders his fellow ghosts to secure Rourke in the facility while he deals with Templar. Rourke, deciding to exfil, orders Dame to escort to the underground bunker where he intends to exfil via helicopter. Templar tells Dame to go with him while he deals with Ghost. As he unsheaths his sword to confront his enemy, he remarks that he's killed Ghost before and that he can do it again. The pair then engage in a vicious duel, with Ghost mentioning a Dark Covenant and that he knows Templar's real name is Edouard, which annoys him. Mace, who had broken free of his binds, joins in the fight as well, punching Templar just as he throws Ghost aside. Now double-teamed by the two skull-masked operators, Templar tries his best to fend them off, managing to throw knives into Mace's forearms, but Ghost manages to thwart him before he can do the same to him. Ghost throws Templar to the ground and attempts to use the same coup de grace on him, but it fails and Templar kicks him away. Mace can't move his arms due to Templar having struck his nerve clusters, but Ghost recovers swiftly, managing to stab Templar in his leg, but he then retaliates by swiping Ghost across the face with his wrist blades. He then attempts to stab Ghost in the head, but the latter blocks it with his palm and manages to grab his knife-wielding arm, breaking it and putting him in a submission hold. Ghost then prepares to kill Templar, but at the nick of time, Dame appears to save her consort and kicks Ghost away. The wounded Templar is then carried away by Dame as Ghost is unable to recover in time to stop them. After arriving in Panama, Dame helps Templar get off the ship. He is clearly in bad shape as he nearly stumbles over when he insists that he doesn't need help. He and his consort discuss among each other, stating that Hidora and Rourke only care about themselves and they're not fit to lead, they need a true leader, and Dame believes that he should be their leader instead. Some time later, Templar is shown putting on his old armor, with Dame remarking she always liked the old dark armor better. Wearing her usurper uniform, Dame goes on to say why Templar should become leader of the Five Knights. He was always the best of them even at his worst, the Templar and the Crusader. Although he insists that he's anything but a traitor, Dame tells him not to think of killing Rourke as betrayal, but as service to the soldiers who had to follow his bad decisions. Templar is shocked to discover later on that his consort had summoned the rest of the Dark Covenant, composed of Dark Shepherd, Artery, Dark Rider, Witch Doctor, and surprisingly, Stansfield. Templar later on interrupts the conversation between Rourke and Rot, before ultimately putting his plan into action by taking out Rourke's mercs. Rourke attempts to escape in the ensuing battle, but Stansfield blows up his ship, preventing him from leaving. Rourke attempts to fend off Templar, but he wounds him by throwing his knife into his torso. Later on, he bears witness as Dame executes Rourke by slitting his throat. Some time later, Templar is shown to be at Blackout with the rest of the Covenant. Through his conversation with Dame, it's revealed that he served in the Covenant for the sake of daughter, Sophia. Edouard apparently wants to leave the Covenant, taking his daughter with him. But Dame shoots down the idea, telling him that Sophia has been well taken care of by the Covenant and that she belongs to them. Despite this, Templar insists on taking her away, to which Dame chuckles and wishes him good luck in finding her. He then demands an explanation for her statement, to which Dame derides him for thinking the Covenant would have simply handed over Sophia to him, as she is bound by blood to the Covenant and will grow to be an operator like them. Templar doesn't believe this, but Dame goes on to state that Stansfield and the Fifth Knight filled his head with lies and false promises. The last straw for him is broken when Dame says that Sophia will always be an asset to the Dark Covenant and that they will never let her go, as this prompts Templar to chuckle before he slices Dame's throat open with his wrist blades, causing her to bleed out. He remarks that she has cut his strings and that he's no one's puppet anymore, before goading the rest of the Covenant into fighting him. A battle then ensues between Templar and the Covenant members. He manages to kill Dark Rider with his knives and fends off Dark Shepherd and Witch Doctor. Dark Shepherd tells Templar that there's no way out for him as the Covenant is for life, to which he responds that that would mean he has to kill all of them. He then proceeds to render Witch Doctor's purifier unusable and slices Dark Shepherd's scythe in half as he tells him he won't be walking out of there. Artery joins the battle, with her expressing her anger at Edouard for betraying them when they are at the cusp of having everything. He replies that he is making a choice, to which Artery retorts that she will make sure Sophia won't even remember his name, but Edouard insists he will get her back anyway. Dark Shepherd questions him how he intends to do so, as he has no allies, no intel and no resources. Edouard tells them he will resort to whatever means necessary to get her back. After a grueling battle with the rest of the Covenant members, where Templar is revealed to have sustained significant damage, i.e. his torn cape, scratch marks all over his torso and a cracked helmet exposing his right eye, he has evidently defeated them as Witch Doctor is seen carrying away Dark Shepherd and dragging Artery along with him. Witch Doctor vows that it's not over before leaving with his vanquished comrades. Edouard then later meets with Ghost. However, he does not attack him, instead telling him that they would have made great allies in another life, but not in this one. He then hands Ghost a keycard, telling him he's behind the bookshelf, revealing that the Fifth Knight is in the premises. When Ghost asks why he's doing this, he replies that it's not his war anymore, before walking away. Ghost then asks what he's going to do, to which Edouard replies that he's going to burn the Dark Covenant to the ground. Edouard is seen later in an abandoned castle welding and forging his damaged helmet. As he puts on the repaired helmet, he notes that Ghost has found him and states that his footsteps aren't as light as he thinks. Ghost tells him that it wasn't hard to find him. Trivia: Templar takes heavy inspiration from the Predator species from the franchise bearing its namesake. The design of his mask takes inspiration from the original visor design worn by the Predator in the 1987 film. Both collect trophies from victorious hunts. After he stabs Ghost and takes his mask, he says that's one less loose end. This is a reference to an iconic quote from General Shepard at the end of the Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 mission, Loose Ends. Templar's Royal Knight uniform has the Five Knights logo printed on his cape. Despite his apparent membership in the Five Knights, he appears to be a gun for hire, as evidenced by his interactions with Dame as well as Gabriel Rourke, who heads the Mercs. Templar's last name, Couteau, translates to knife in French. This is a reference to Templar's skills at throwing knives and melee fights. Thanks for watching. Part 2 coming soon.